What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Double Doors podcast. My name is Ryan. I now have glasses. I'm joined by Malbs, who also now has glasses. Liam, you are the only glassesless person on this show. How does it
Ginger
feel to be
and
so
no
alone?
glasses. Ginger and no glasses. I'm just standing out like a sore thumb here.
Yeah, no, finally glad to have these. Glad to have glasses. Glad to see things. Very impressive. And I guess now we will see why Malbs and oNe have been in the news recently. Wow, look at that. What a transition. We're joined by Malbs Rifler, still with oNe. We there's been a
Technically.
lot of technically still with oNe. There's been a lot of changes recently, so we're going to be diving into that first. And obviously, we're going to be covering the rest of the news here, and Moms can join us if he wants, or he can leave us if he wants. It's going to be kind of up to him. If we grill him too hard, he might tell me to fuck off and leave on later. Um. So yeah. So welcome to the show, Mobs.
Thank you, Ryan.
So I kind of first have to ask because I've never actually understood, why is your name Malbs? What is the MD? What is the Malbs? What is the MD? Like, are you a doctor? I'm very confused.
Basically, when I was like, 11 years old, I used to play 1.6 and I used to name myself Free Kill. But then I was just like, this name sucks, you know? And I was like, this is something creative and cool. And I was like, I just thought of my name, and basically, malbsMd is just like a resume of my full name. Like M stands for Mario, ALB stands for Alberto, SM stands for Samayoa, and D for Diaz. So that's my nickname.
Okay. All right. That is actually a lot, and that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
I never had like a nickname. I just never made one at all, ever. Like I don't know. I just never made one even growing up.
What did you play CS as then? Like, were you just Ryan?
Yeah, I was just Ryan. I didn't understand. I didn't. I played Halo very early on, but it was on my brother's Xbox account, and he named it after my parents' email account. So we just had my parents' email as our name. So I didn't like have a name. Like it was just there. Like it was still stupid. And I mean, yeah. So you got Slevo how? Just
Sur-
Slevin?
Surname Slevin. So in Ireland, a very typical way of getting a nickname is just adding an O and like shortening the last name and adding an O. It's the most uncreative thing ever. Like all my friends have the same. So like friend named Whelan, Wheelo, friend named Grealish,
That's
Greelo, me,
that's terrible.
Slevo.
That's
It's so
terrible.
uncreative. We're all the same, but it just kind of stuck. So
That's awful. Moms, you are one of Guatemala's like only professional players, and kind of, and I don't want to be. It's like you and Marky are the only like Central American players like that we have really at the top tier level of the scene. Like, how do you feel? I guess does that like impact you all when you play? Like being someone from that region, being someone from Guatemala or Central America, and you're playing with these Brazilian teams, or you're playing with like other North American teams.
At the start, it was kind of hard for me to be like at the top because, like not only in Guatemala but in Latin America as a whole, like in the north, it's just
Yeah,
pretty hard to go pro. So I had to actually just learn two languages in order to be, I mean, three languages in order to be pro, to become
yeah,
pro. So when I reached the first minor, I was like, all right, I have the opportunity to be the first Guatemalan and probably the first Latin American to be at the major, and I was like, I want to do this, but it's been like what 7 minors and I couldn't do it, and I was like really sad because I couldn't hit the last major. So yeah,
oh. So what was your like first big team that you had joined?
big team, team one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not you're not going to count Infinity for that one.
no, it is not a big team.
they made it to the minor, and when I was looking at the games that you played with them, it was a lot of like similar players that like Spamzy, Kinky, like they're all still kind of floating around. But yeah, I guess they've only made that one minor, which was Thoramore for Rio.
Yeah, and I was really happy for seeing them because they were like they played for so long and they deserved it, but they didn't. They never managed to get there. So when I saw them there, I was just like really happy to meet them again, and you know.
Yeah. In terms of like being Guatemalan, like having left that scene, is there any players that are actually Guatemalan that you look at now or like still keep in contact with that you think could maybe make the step up to a higher level?
Yeah, of course. I have some friends that are playing ESL main right now. They have huge potential, and I think they can reach. I mean, right now they are 1-4, but it's been really close. They just got beaten like for some dumb mirrors they did in the matches, but I'm I'm there helping them, you know. So I'm just trying to help them reach advance and then premier. So I know they can reach it. And there's one player that I wanna shout out that I've shout outed like many times. This is Sage. He's an opper. He's 24, but he's really good opper and he has really good talent. But who knows?
Yeah, it's just like you were saying, like 3 languages. You've got to speak Spanish, English,
Yeah,
Portuguese to even get anywhere in
yeah, that's the
this. I
thing.
mean, so how is that transition going from a Spanish language team in Infinity to Portuguese with ONE? Was it like was it the same level, kind of like any international players trying to like would you consider it the same as like European internationals coming to play in like an NA team, like Cirque when he came over to play in Evil Geniuses?
It was way different because at first I had to learn English in order to be known in North America. So I
It's
started
true.
to speak English, play rank S because at the time it was rank S.
Yeah.
FPL was dead. Then Pesa reached out to me and he said, "Yo, no, it was Maluki actually. Yo, we want to try you out." And Tirki just left. We want you to stand in for us. And I was like, "All right," but I don't speak Portuguese. Then it was easy for me to just learn it because it's pretty similar to Spanish, but some words just aren't similar at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just pretty bad at the start, and even now, like it's been 3 years, and I still just crash with the words. I just forget what to say, and it's just really hard because it's my third language, and
Yeah.
if I want to think of something, or if I want to do something, or if I want to say something, I just gotta first think in Spanish and translate it to Portuguese, and sometimes I would just lag. I don't know, and I would just translate it to like from Spanish to English to Portuguese, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Did you learn English in school then, or did you have to like go out of your way to go learn English?
um, how can I say it? Like at the start, it was some basic English I learned at school, but I basically just learned it in CS just playing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I picked up about 5 words of Russian from all the matchmaking I've played, but I don't think it's anywhere close to the level that you got with English.
yeah.
I've tried to learn Portuguese and like do anything there because obviously we have so many Portuguese speakers now, and I still all I've got is like bom dia. That's it. Just bom dia. That's
Bom
it.
dia.
Corralio. That's all I can do at this point, which is bad. So you came in for TRK, right? That was when he left initially for MIBR,
Yeah, exactly.
and then TRK came back to Team One after the whole MIBR thing kind of fizzled out and was kind of a shit show. But TRK was like really considered like one of the next best things to come out of the Team One team. So what was it like when he kind of came back? Did you feel like there was like a clash between you guys for roles or things because he was coming in?
When he came back, I left.
Oh
But when
shit,
I
that's
came,
right for 009. Oh my god. Dude, I thought that was honestly I thought it was earlier. Honestly, I thought he came back earlier. I
yeah, that
forgot.
that was the meme that was going on in Brazil. Like he left, I joined. I left, he joined. So
Well
just
then
it was
do you want to talk about the 0-0 time? What was that like for to join that? Or is this not a good memory to talk about?
it's just whatever. Of course, I enjoyed the experience. I think it was just awesome to play with Coldzera, and I learned a lot of them. But there were some internal issues, and I don't know what just happened. I just decided to leave. That's it.
Yeah, like from looking at that 0 Nation team, it looked like it kind of had all the right pieces to work. Like yourself, VSM was playing really well at the time. Cold, Leo was sick. Try still doing great. Like in terms of like the roles and like the way it was set up, do you think there was any issue with that, or was it purely just down to internal stuff?
I just being fair, I don't know. Like that team had everything to be on the top, but it just didn't work out. You know, just like I always compared it to like what PSG is like. You
Oh
can
yeah.
have all these stars, but it's just sometimes it just doesn't work. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it was. You look back at that 0-0. I think I remember, like, even when it was that team was created, I was like, this 0-0 Nation team should literally beat a ton of
Yeah,
other teams,
exactly.
and it never seemed to click, and the results just never seemed to come. I mean, you guys were in Europe for a good portion of that time, right?
Yeah, probably we just needed more time. Like we were only together for like 3 months or something, so we just didn't have that much time to click, I would say.
Yeah. All
But
right.
who knows?
Yeah.
All right. So back to one. You come back, and then the post 0-0 Nation. Now TRK is not leaving; he's there with you. So post that team, and that's kind of the formulation that we have now, right? IDK was part of that. Pesa, Maluke, you, and TRK.
Yeah.
You guys seem to again be a strong contender towards the top. And you even had one of your better placements at Frag. You got into the semis.
I don't know. This group is just like it was weird once again. Like we are all friends, we all like each other, we all play good, but we just didn't click anymore this year. Like last year we had a pretty good year, I will say. We just didn't qualify for the major, but we did a pretty good year, I would say. We qualified for many things, but this year things just didn't go through and just got to the disband.
And what was that issue again? Like just internal things going on? You just don't know? You seem like I feel like you know. I feel like you're not telling me.
Uh, of course, internal things happened, of course, but I don't know. Just like no one knows. If you ask anyone, no one knows. Like no one knows what just happened.
No one can
Yeah,
pinpoint it.
yeah.
In terms of like coming back to going back to one after 0-0 Nation, you said the first time it was Malik that brought you in. Was it the same the second time around? Was it Malik that came looking for you?
It was all of them because
All
we just yeah. They were like at the time they were trying to kick XNS and they knew I was going out of 0-0 Nation and I was just talking with Kakavela and I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave 0-0 Nation. What are you guys gonna do, etc. And the guys and at the time I had an offer. I'm not gonna say who it was because no one knows, but
I mean, I think we're past the time. I think it's okay at
Can you-
this
yeah, no,
point.
no, I'm not gonna say it because
Can you give us a continent?
yeah, it is an
Okay.
A, but
Okay.
it is not a tier 1 team.
Okay.
Okay.
But if I say what is going on, you guys are gonna know who it is. But yeah, I had an offer and I was in talks with them, and then I just messaged Kakavel and I said, "What are you guys gonna do?" And then Kakavel told the guys, and they were like, "All right, just come with us. We want to play. We want you to play with us, and we just don't want to play with this guy anymore. And we want you guys. We want you, you know, we want you to play with us." And basically, I just rejected the other team, and I said I wanted to join Team One, and I just joined back.
Not a tier 1 team. I can't get over this. I'm gonna like stay on this for like months at a time of just thinking about what this is. You can tell
Ryan's
me.
gonna be he's
Oh,
gonna be lying awake at night thinking about
I
this. Now
actually
you
might
set him
be.
off.
I actually might be. Because here's the thing: is he sending shade to North American teams, calling what I think is a tier 1 North American team, saying that they're not tier 1? You know what I mean?
No,
We
no, no,
play-
no. Like basically,
Yeah,
Tier One teams, the ones that play Tier One events.
Okay, fine. All
It's
right.
not none of them.
he's not playing 4D chess against you. But I guess onto like the Armor where things kind of seem to collapse right afterwards. Heading into the Armor, we know that Pesa was kind of gone beforehand. Was
Can
that
you?
the idea before the Armor that you guys all knew that this is it, or
I will say that that kind of it was bad. That was a bad timing. Like it couldn't happen. Like you can't just kick somebody before a boot camp. You know?
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, how did that all like kind of come about? I think is Like, was it in the works? Was this kind of something that was clear? Oh,
His room's getting invaded.
are we getting room service over there?
Yeah, kinda.
No, but
It's
I mean, was the Pesa removal something that had been in the works for a bit of time, or was this just like something that was sudden? Because there was a tweet from Peacemaker that basically kind of alluded to it, and it was weird. And producer Martin, I don't know if you can throw it up on the screen, but it
1
basically
second.
was. Oh, okay. This is what you do in the live broadcast.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's
no, you're good.
okay. But basically, from the Google Translate, there's a tweet that's in the Martin. There's a tweet that was in the sheet that links to a Peacemaker tweet, and basically the Google Translate version of it says they're talking about the Pesa kick, and Cockavell said something about how it was internal things. The coach requested it, so obviously he's blaming Peacemaker. And then Peacemaker goes, I didn't request it alone, much less thinking about reformulating it as soon as possible. The reason is what happened the day before the trip to the boot camp, and which culminated in the exit from Pesa. We know, and out of respect and contractual reasons, he won't explain. That is like pretty clear, like to us, like was it something that was kind of brewing up, or was it all of a sudden and then like there was just one last straw? Like, did he yell back, or like, or like what was it? I guess is my question. Like, did you have an inkling that there were things brewing, or was this all of a sudden something happened and he was gone?
Thanos 5 was something we were just good, like as always have been, but I don't know if it was happening with Kakavel and Peacemaker. But for us, it was just like kind of like a surprise, you know. Like I'm gonna say this, but like the problem happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but then the day after, I just woke up. I'm playing deathmatch. And then I just see Pesa just taking his keyboard off, and I just look at him, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he just says, "I'm kicked," and I'm like, "Huh?"
That's how. Wait, that's how he told you. That's so bad.
It was like that.
So bad. Oh my god. That. Jesus, that's not great.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened after that? Like, he just tells you he's kicked. Well, what's going on then?
Then we just like that was a travel day. I think.
Travel day to.
Yeah, to the bootcamp. And then we just asked for a talk, for a meeting with everyone, Kakaville, Peacemaker, the players, and we were like, all right, if he doesn't travel with us, we're not traveling either. So we want him in the team.
Okay, so this was, I guess, before. I'm trying to think. You've already qualified for the RMR. This was the boot camp for it.
Yeah.
The rules would have allowed you to choose a sub? I don't think so, actually.
No,
I don't think you actually could
have.
have played the RMR literally without Pesa.
I think we had a sub in.
Okay.
But that was the thing. We were not going to just travel for a bootcamp that it was like 12 days long and just
Not have
travel.
an actual fifth. Yeah.
We will just travel, wait for the fifth to come. They will. That will be just like 2 days without doing anything, and then just I don't know. Would have been the same thing or worse.
That's
It was.
okay. So now you all travel to Poland. Where did you host the boot camp?
What's up?
Where did you host the boot camp?
I was in Kingwin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Seems to be a big favorite with the Brazilians. Like when we were in Katowice, Imperial were there. I think FURIA went after playing. So
Complexity just went there too.
yeah, and
That's
now
a pretty
they're
cool
in.
place, though. It's
Is
pretty
it?
comfortable. Yeah, it is.
It looks good. I
It
can only
is.
see the videos and stuff from outside. So, okay. So now you're at the boot camp. Pesa is kicked. How does that boot camp work? Because the weirdest thing after was, I guess, Peacemaker left. Like, I don't get, like, I'm having a tough time understanding this. So Peacemaker clearly is the one that's making the decision to kick Pesa. The event happens, whatever the event is, it happens. Pesa's gone. And then you still go to the boot camp. Did Pesa like flip him off every single day? Like, was it just so bad that Peacemaker at the end of this was like, I literally can't even go to the RMR with you guys?
I'm trying to remember what happened.
Okay. I love this gossip.
Dude, basically we just came to the bootcamp. We were just practicing really well. We were practicing well. I mean, we had a bunch of hours practicing. We were practicing like 12 hours a day or something, over 10.
Oh my god.
And yeah, like we will just wake up at 10. And I mean, we will go to PCs at 10 and then just leave at like 10, just, and the practice would just end at like 7 p.m. or 8. It was really good. Then
Nice.
after the bootcamp, I don't remember what happened exactly, but some things happened and Peacemaker just left. And
No. You can't just go speed right by this saying some things just happened and our coach the
course.
day before the RMR starts is not here. That is not how this works right now. What the fuck?
Mario just turned
about?
around. Peacemaker was packing up his keyboard. He said, "I'm kicked."
I'm not gonna explain too much, but I just remember he was going to leave. But yeah,
was that decision made during the boot camp or?
no, it was after.
Okay, so you guys do the boot camp with the Kicks player. You come back, the Kicks player stays, and the coach leaves, and then the coach that kicked the player still gets kicked after the RMR. Got it. Understood.
Something like that.
Yeah, understood. Great.
It kind of gives me EG vibes. Which, remember the way that the Stewie and Malik thing went down? Like Malik was gone because of the riff with Stewie, and then Stewie went right after. It's like, oh, so both of them are gone now.
Right. It's like no one gets to stay. There's no Starbucks in this scenario. Everyone just hates each other.
I guess with the RMR, like with everything that happened with Peace going after the boot camp, you said yourself that being a Guatemalan, you wanted to qualify for the major, but going into the RMR, what was the kind of mood and like the camp like? What was the expectations? Like, did you guys think that you still had a real chance considering how well the boot camp went, or?
I mean, we always had the positive vibes, you know, like, all right, if you want to do this, we have to do this because this is the last major. We always qualify for this kind of things in the worst scenarios possible. So, I don't know. We were just like, all right, we can do it. But then we just lost 4 to FURIA.
16-4, I think, yeah.
And then we just got 16-0 to Imperial, and that was the nail in the coffin. So.
Yeah, I would not have liked to have listened to the comms on the server during that 16-0. It can't have been any good.
No, it was pretty bad. Like, at the start of Mirage, I was like, all right, I'm killing people. I feel like when you're in warm up and you kill people, you feel like you're on point. And I was like, all right, we might have a chance here. And then the 15-0 happened, and I was like, I was about to cry. You know, not even the 16 happened, and I was like about to cry in the 15. It was just pretty bad.
So obviously the other thing that happened at the RMR was Kakavel stepped in to be the coach, but couldn't be the coach. Can you tell us like what happened there in terms of the miscommunication? I mean, from what I understand with Blast, Kakavel had asked like, "Hey, can I step in for the coach? You know, want to do whatever?" And the player travel were like, "Yeah, sure," but the rules forbid him. So I guess was that just a clear miscommunication?
He was kind of explaining it to me. Basically, they had to send like a form of who was going, etc. And he was in like a manager.
Okay.
Like, yeah, he was in the form he was like a manager and Peace was like a coach, and that was one form. And there was a second form because they lost the first one, and the second one he wasn't in the form. It was something like that. I don't really clear, but it was pretty bad. It was pure miscommunication.
Okay.
In terms of the event in general, like me and Ryan talked about it last week on the podcast, like how much of a mess it was from the side of like press and the way that the games were getting delayed. What was it like for you as a player actually being at that event?
I was really mad. Like, we were supposed to be the first match to be played, and I think it was gonna be played at midday, 12
Yeah, it was like
p.m.
12 o'clock or something.
Yeah, and then we just ended up playing at like 5 p.m. or something. It was just pretty bad. I was starving, and I wasn't in a pretty good mood, and I don't know. I think that was another reason we just couldn't click, at least against FURIA. I feel like we could have done much more than 4 rounds, but we just couldn't.
Yeah. So now I guess the things that's kind of happened after has been Maluki has not had his contract renewed by Team One. I mean, what was it like working with him for so long? I mean, he's been the pillar of that team. As you said, he was the one that reached out and brought you into it. I mean, what is it like to have played with him and now to kind of see him go?
Probably Maluk is the best teammate I've ever had, along with Beza. Like, both of them are really great friends, great teammates, great players, and I just love each one of like they're just pretty good people. And seeing them go, it was pretty sad because since 2020 we just reached to play many events together, many important events, and just like being just me now since that roster that managed to play Cologne, Katowice, even we reached the major kinda. It was the Road to Rio thing,
Yeah.
2020, but
Yeah.
we just couldn't. We didn't get enough points because they didn't discount points on Genji, I think it was, and
Yeah.
then we just couldn't qualify, and yeah, and I don't know. I feel that it was just unfair with Maluki with how the fans would just knock him out every time we would just lose a match. They would just uh, like it was like more than 100% just saying Maluki needs to get kicked. You suck. You're terrible. It was just pretty bad, and I would just get like he's just pretty good. You know, he's not an upper that will get much impact, but he's just gonna set you up to kill 30 with flashes and just supporting you along. Like he's just
Yeah.
a pretty good teammate.
Yeah, Pesa talks a little bit about the pressure from fans and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And you feel like just so much of that?
For me, it was not as much as Maluki. Like for me, it was just like if I had a bad match, they would just go like, "You're brain dead. You're stupid. You're pretty bad at many things." Just for one bad
Jesus.
match. But if I do really well, you're the best. You should go to FURIA. Some things like that. It was just bipolar things, you know.
Yeah. Since Maluk is gone now, and he was with ONE for 7 years, he's 33 years of age. Excuse me. What do you think the next step is for him? Do you think he's going to stay playing as an IGL, try and like build up younger players, or do you think he could even move into like coaching or something?
I had some talks with Maluki. I don't know if he's gonna get mad with me for saying this, but he wants to keep playing a little bit, but he wants to become a coach at some point,
Yeah,
which I think is really good for him because he has a bunch of experience. Like he's one of the most experienced players in Brazil. Like he won many things in 1.6, played some good things in CS:GO, so he has good experience and he will be a good coach.
yeah, like you were saying with the fans putting a lot of pressure on him, saying you're a bot or whatever after because he's like that IGL that's open, and if he struggles, it's going to stand out. I think for a lot of people that pay a bit more attention to the scene, he's clearly like I've always been saying he's to Brazil what like Hunden was to Denmark. Like he was building up all these smaller teams, and then he did turn into a coach. And before all the shit happened, he was actually doing all right. However much of it was to do with the cheating. We won't say, but I guess like every scene has one of those, and Maluk was clearly that for the South American scene. So I do hope he does stick around as a coach or even an analyst or something like that. So
Yeah, I do as well. Like, I've thought this for a long time. Like, if I join a tier 1 team and we don't have a coach, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna call him. Like, he's just awesome.
it's not a bad bet to make.
So would you want to follow him? I guess if you had the ability to, since you still remain contracted to ONE, would you follow him to maybe going to Brazil to play there, or would you feel that like your career then would be kind of more held up in North America?
I will follow him just because I like him. But for me, I don't want to play in Brazilian teams anymore. Like, I think it has come to the point that I just want to play in my language or in English because it's just way more comfortable for me.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I guess quickly just to stay on the point of Maluka and that whole situation, we know that the Lost plus ONE merger happened back in, what was it, before October, September last year. For him to have been with ONE for like 7 years, and now this merger happens and he's gone like less than 6 months later, has there been much of a change that you guys have seen as players since the Lost plus ONE merger?
Wait, what? Can you repeat the question again?
So when Team One became Lost plus ONE,
Oh, yeah.
you as a player, have you seen any changes? Like Maluk was there for 7 years, and now 6 months after they become Lost plus ONE, he's gone.
Being honest, I don't think we got many changes for
Okay.
us, like the CS:GO team. But of course, some things changed, like the fans thing. We didn't get as much hate as we did when we joined Lost plus ONE. It was just awful. Like, I'm just gonna say that it's awful. Like, it was terrible. Like, it was just terrible experiences. Just like every time we would just lose a match, it was DMs, comments, just saying we suck. You guys are bad.
Jesus.
You should just leave. It was pretty bad.
Wow. That's just that's just got to be so intense, and just like you can't, like, how do you even deal with that after like so long?
It's pretty bad. We got to the point that we didn't even want to open Twitter because we know that they were just gonna be joking about we just suck.
Man, blows. I understand. I normally like to yell about how bad Brazilians are, but like, I don't know, every day that's really tough. I can't even do that.
I'm surprised you haven't learned more Portuguese from your DM death
You know,
threats,
I really should know more Portuguese at this point. I just use Google Translate. It's so easy. Perfect. So being in NA for so long, and obviously having played with Brazilian teams, I have a lot of feelings personally about how good Brazil is and how good North America is. Now, in all honesty, I will say this. NA had its moment from about, like, I think NA and Brazil kind of peaked around the same time. At like in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like even 2019 a little bit. Brazil, I didn't feel like Brazil was necessarily at the same level. But NA's obviously, orgs have left. Seen like a lot of talent has left, especially for Valorant. Brazil and NA genuinely to me feel kind of at the same level at this point. They have one good team, FURIA, Liquid. They have like maybe one or two upstart teams. And then they have big organizations and big teams that are not doing good. And they have older players, Imperial and EG. How do you see the scene right now? How do you see the Americas region? Do you feel like they are pretty equal? Do you feel like there's any North American team that's like really on the come up?
I feel like they're pretty much the same. Like, I was in Brazil at the start of the year, and I was in NA like later in the year. I feel like it's pretty much the same. Just the little difference is that there's more teams in Brazil than there is in NA. Brazilian people would just not accept that. They would just go like, NA sucks. That's all they think about. NA sucks. And it's just like, it's just the same shit. Like,
I love that.
I'm sure Hockey would agree. I think he's still in chats.
but like, for real, every single people in Brazil, all they just think about is just NA sucks. If
Yeah.
a Brazilian team loses to an NA team, damn, you guys are terrible. How can you lose in NA? But like, they're good as well.
Yeah.
You guys seem to be the main Brazilian team that were always around ECL. Like we had teams like Pain, they kind of drop out. MIBR are normally around. What do you think the level of ECL is at the moment for people that kind of aren't familiar with it?
I think ECL got to the point that it's better now. I think what 2 to 3 seasons ago, it was just not as good as it is now. Like
Yeah.
Pain and MIBR now just got really good out of nowhere. Like Pain just kicked their IGL. Well, they didn't kick them. The IGL just decided to take a break. Then Rigo Serra took the IGL role, and they just went nuts.
Because Zero has been an
Yeah.
insane player. He's been crazy, and we're gonna talk about them in a little bit. But before we kind of get into the IEM Rio stuff and all the other news, one kind of final question, because Liam and I have talked about this several times, and we think it's one of the more important ideas about Brazilian Counter Strike. Big Zero on FURIA as IGL. What are your thoughts? We have many, and we need to hear yours.
It could work, but I don't know. I feel like he will have some role clashes with Yuri and Casarado, but I don't know. Like he will have to do what Art does because Furia is used to a playstyle that no team plays. So if I don't know, it's just like bringing Falling in. That's just not gonna fit because Furia is used to play a style that just works for them. But probably if they just playing another system, it might just not work. So who knows?
Yeah.
That's a
I,
real issue.
Yeah, I think that's a good point on Fury. Have their style, and you don't want to mess with it really because it's brought them this far. But for me,
Yeah.
I think they need to tweak something because they've been a title contending team that haven't won a title in like for 4 years now. And I know there was COVID and stuff, and they did all right during online. But it just feels like they really should have gotten over the line and at least won one title, whether it was a challenger or something like that. But that's just me.
Yeah, like I was hoping they could have won the major at Rio. It would have been fantastic, but
Even this IEM Rio that just went, like they could,
yeah.
Right. Which, as we get into, do we
Yeah.
feel that their performance at IEM Rio was a underperformance, or do we think it's kind of exactly where Furia is as a team? They literally had Heroic by the balls, to be as graphic as possible. They had that game. And they just couldn't get it over the line.
To be fair, I didn't watch that match.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Who is this guy?
I'm
Criminal.
sorry.
Who is this guy? He's a killer.
My player break just started, you know?
Doesn't want to watch this.
That's brutal, dude. That's so brutal.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Furia finished 5th, 6th. They lost a very close match against Heroic, and it's kind of become a theme. Like Liam, we were talking about this before. They get close. They do the minimum, which is reach quarterfinals, and they don't do anything more. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of like parallel, like you could see a lot of similarities between both IEM Rio games that they had against Heroic. Like they started off really strongly. They won a map that was really like closely contested and could have gone
And
either
lost an
way,
ancient.
and lost on Ancient. But the biggest thing that I noticed is it seems like they run out of steam. They had like 90 rounds on Ancient, and then you could just see Heroic coming more and more back into it. And I don't know whether it's because it was a Brazilian crowd or whether it's just a Furia thing. I think the crowd kind of helps you figure it out because the crowd were just silent and the cameras panned around and you could see it on their faces that they already kind of knew that they were going to lose the game. But it just seems to be a case that they're just running out of steam in these games. And I know Heroic is a tough cell to play against and keep up the morale across 3 maps because they're just so fucking aggressive everywhere they go with those 2 players around the corner. But yeah, I really don't know what the fix is for Fury because even if you look at the tournament, like Queserado's still putting up best player in the world numbers every tournament, and that's still not even getting them close to finals. So
It's pretty weird. I don't know. Like as you said, like Casarado is just playing out of his mind right now. Like for me right now, he's like the best riffler out there, but I don't
oh
know
yeah,
what's going on. Probably who knows? I don't know.
because Yuri's kind of fallen off slightly to the level that we kind of normally hold him to. But even if he went back to his normal level, I still don't think they're going to win a title. It just seems like something's going wrong. And I don't even necessarily know exactly where the issue lies, because I think Safe is doing fine as an AWPer. Like, you're pretty familiar with the style of the FURIA play. It's kind of hard for an AWPer to perform as consistently with such an aggressive style.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing fine. And like you said, if you take Art out of the equation, who's able to call that style better than Art does? So, what do you think, Ryan?
I think the new style that they implemented. I mean, and Bones, you can speak to it. Like, how do the new style that they kind of started to implement at the RMR? Right, it seemed slower, but it seemed more deliberate. And I think they're still working that phase out. I mean, they obviously talked about major changes, and they made a significant amount of changes. It's clear in their play style now. It's not as wild, it's not as super aggressive, but it's more like we know when to push, we know when to do these things. It's a controlled aggression rather than more of a we're here to take as much space as possible and shove it down your throats. So Miles, I don't know if you can speak to it. I don't know if you want to speak about your first game at the RMR again, but if you noticed anything that seemed different, I'm all ears.
I just want to forget what just happened. I just want to be like that 16-4 and that 16-0 just never existed.
Never happened. Never happened. I didn't even see it. My eyes were closed.
I didn't even qualify for the RMR.
All right.
I lost to EG in the qualifier.
So anyways, looking at, well, you still would have made it anyways. Even if you lost that game, you still would have replaced that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so looking at the other things, I mean, Imperial and MIBR went out to 2-0, which I don't know if I really like. For Imperial, I give it kind of a pass, right? Team was not clearly expected to do this. They are needing to use a sub because Cello has some health issue or something, and that's why he's not playing at Brazy Party. They obviously were about traveling to Poland, and things might have been off. But for MIBR, I honestly like. I got frustrated because the Cloud9 game, they can't really do anything, right? It's Cloud fucking 9. Like, what are you going to do, right? Like, I didn't expect them to upset them. And then, of course, the seeding had Vitality playing OG. And OG won. So they play the eventual fucking winners in Vitality. Like, I think I made a stupid joke tweet that was like, I don't want Brazil to ever talk to me again. Like, all of you teams finished in last place. It was very funny. I laughed as I was typing it. But being completely fair, I don't think it was like, I can't really blame them. Imperials just, they were off, and to be quite frank, they're not that good. And the Mongols was an equal match for them. They could have put it away. They didn't put it away. Fine, whatever. They were still going to lose in the next round because who were they playing? They were playing Heroic. They had to play Heroic if they beat the Mongols. So, like, out of it, legitimately, I could have seen MIBR and Imperial getting one win. Like, is that terrible as a state of the scene for where, like, Brazilian teams are? Maybe. I don't know. Also, might it just be very unfortunate seeding? Those are my thoughts.
Of course, of not getting the results people want in the teams is just really frustrating for the fans and the players. But I don't know. I think it just takes time for it to just like, as I just said it before with my team, we just need time to click. But for example, MIBR is just trying to work with a new IGL, which is Exit. Yeah, they just brought in a new star who's Insanity. He's just pretty good.
Yeah.
And for Imperial, it's just like unfortunate scenes, like their best player or their star player is just playing like he can play because he's having medical issues. So It's just unfortunate. Also.
I feel bad for Insani. I think out of everyone, I mean, the kid had came in and got off to such a hot start that suddenly now people are kind of expecting him to constantly replicate it, even though he's an academy kid. I mean, he posted a 0.66 over 3 maps. Like, that's
Yeah,
really not great. Now again, the
yeah,
opponents are tough.
but people are just pretty tough on everyone
Yeah.
who's just starting to show off. Like at the beginning, it was just I'm just gonna compare to myself. Like when I was just starting to show off, people would just want me to kill 30 every map, and if I didn't kill 30, I I'm just overrated.
Yeah.
It is like that still. Like if I'm not killing 30, I'm just overrated and I'm just done.
They're
And
not wrong. They're not
yeah,
wrong. Come on, Mario.
I'm
Get it.
overrated.
You
I'm
are. Get it
overrated.
together. Get it together.
We need a team. We need a team with. We need a Ryan and Malbs team up on a
Oh
team.
my god, that'd be great. And then the only other thing that I really saw out of IEM Rio was the topic of burnout has come up. Twist spoke about it, said, you know, oh my god, I've been so stressed. We've been doing all this, which to Twist's defense, like, yeah, like the kid, FaZe is in such the weirdest position. They are the most hot and cold team of all time. They win an event or they finish last the next. Like they just are struggling there. And like they barely finished. They barely made it into the major. They probably weren't going to make it into the major, which is crazy.
If it wasn't for NA.
Right. If it wasn't for NA. So they should thank us. Twist actually thanking himself. But seriously. And like FaZe should not be at the major. Cloud9 should not have had a shot at the major. Like it is pretty insane. And he spoke about like, oh, he had the burnout, the travel is crazy. And then I think Apex talked about it as well. He was like, oh, we can do this. And Kassad made a response and was like, oh, well, you should skip an event. He just made some general tweet and was like, these players should like just skip events.
Yeah,
it's like that's
they don't know about.
It's in the
yeah, it's in the contract or something.
It's in the contracts.
Yeah,
and it's also part of the Louvre agreement. Like these teams are expected to go to these events. You choose them. So
yeah,
and I don't know if a ton of people know this. The events were either IEM Rio or IEM Dallas. You pick one of them. So it's either you're playing the major, then you get on the plane and you go to Dallas, or you do the RMRs, you get on the plane, you go to Rio, and then you go to Dallas, and then you go to the major, and maybe go to Dallas. You get to choose either one if you don't want to choose. I mean, that's what Liquid did. Liquid were like, we don't want to. They're like, we're gonna do the RMR. We're gonna take a good break. We're gonna hang. We're gonna do like a boot camp. Like we're just gonna relax. And all these, and I think that's what Complexity did. Complexity decided as well. At first, they wanted to guarantee themselves Dallas, but I think like they had to then qualify for Rio, which MIBR beat them to. But I don't know. I think like it's coming up good, but I laugh at it a bit of times because like Moms, it's a little bit harder for NA in terms of the travel and the stress.
yeah.
Right?
I haven't gotten to the point in which I just travel every single week, just like tier 1 players, but just for me, even like traveling from Guatemala or Brazil or Las Vegas to Europe just for 10 days and then just coming back and then having to travel for an event and then just coming back again, it's just pretty tiring. It's just, I don't know, it's pretty bad.
How do you think it's going to work over the summer when CS2 comes out? Like, it's not going to be a lot of time for people to actually recover after the major cycle and Cologne and stuff, because it'll be going straight into CS2 then for next season. So
I don't know, I'm pretty excited to be honest. I like that game. It just feels good. I don't know.
are you not sick of Dust 2 right now?
I just lacked out, but no, but I mean I am, but I didn't get to play much because none of my friends have it, so I don't have
No.
people to play with. So yeah, it's not like I'm just gonna play matchmaking by myself and just like, you know.
On Dust 2 over and over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
I'm just gonna wait for the other maps to come in. But yeah, who knows? I feel like it's a really good game at least. At least the Wellbangs are back.
Yeah.
I loved it.
There you go. All right, let's move on to talk about some boot camps here. We've got 5 teams, 5 boot camps. Well, all the teams from the RMRs. The only team that I don't know what they're doing is FURIA. I don't know. Are they boot camping in Malta or something? But like Liquid's in the Netherlands, Pain's in Serbia, Complexity was in Poland. Now they're in Australia. Then they're going back to Poland. Fluxo is in Germany. Those are the 4 that I know. So I was getting some good EU practice in ahead of the major. Get out your jet lag. Everyone stays there. Everyone gets ready. There's no jet lag excuses that are going to happen. We literally have, dear God, a week and a half until this major, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not enough hype.
Just wait until the stickers come out. Hype is gonna start.
Yeah, I think that's really when major season kicks off properly. Is once the stickers come out and it'll be all over Twitter and everything.
We have
But-
10 days. There's
Yeah.
10 days. What are
I don't
we
know.
doing?
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't released it though. Like,
When did stickers get released last time? Producer Martin, if you can look that up. I'm gonna guess it was about.
It was
I
like
wanna
a
say-
week before.
I want to say it was like 6 days before the major stickers were
Yeah.
released.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my bet.
I don't know why they released the Anubis collection right now as well, which is kind of weird. They released the Anubis collection, and I figured that was going to be with the
Yeah.
major stuff because obviously Anubis wasn't played at the last major, so it makes sense to release them at the same time. Then they just put one out and then didn't release the other things. So
Well, they also
Okay.
didn't release it with a key, which
no, I mean it's a container, like it's a souvenir one. There's never keys with those, but
right.
like,
but
I mean
like,
that's not a
it's like
souvenir.
but it's
one,
like
but-
it's like a case though. It's a case.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's a case, but not a case.
it's a weird hybrid kind of way. Like it's still the containers, but you can buy them for the first time, which just makes it kind of fucking weird. But
I just
mean-
got scammed by Gaben.
how many? Did
I opened 40 and I didn't even get a blue.
So 9 days before Rio, they
Tomorrow is
released the
coming.
stickers. So
Tomorrow is stickers are
tomorrow, 1, 2, 3, 4.
coming. Or today, who knows?
No, it'd be Saturday. It'd be Saturday. Would be the 9 days.
Nah, there's
Oh.
no updates on Saturday. Come on, Ryan.
I'm
You're a
not-
journalist.
I'm just-
You gotta know this. You gotta know this.
what the hell? Getting after me on my own show? What the hell? Oh my god.
You know,
Yeah.
I think they'll break that. They're going to release it on Saturday because they know that I'm not going to be at my PC on Saturday. So that's what they always fucking do. They always release it when I'm away. So.
So Mario, what do we think about all the teams boot camping? Obviously in EU ahead of time. Obviously, it's going to give them good practice, good things. Do you think what Complexity is doing in doing Poland to Melbourne to get like some real practice, real tournament level practice on land, preemptive Paris is a good idea? Do you think what Pain is doing, where they're just playing some online tournament, or what about Liquid and Fluxo, which they're or Furia, who again, no idea where Furia are. Barry would much like to know if they're in like Malta or something. Like, do you think like what way for you as a player do you think would help best prepare you for a major?
I would say that I don't know. It's pretty. Like obviously, just boot camping is obviously the best option, but if you see it like preparing against a team that just played a tournament and then they just went to a boot camp, you don't really know what's gonna happen, if they're gonna change some things, they're gonna bring some new stuff. It's just it could work really well for your complexity, but then just being in the boot camp for a really long time is gonna help them just grind, you know, like getting good practice and just focusing on the games is better also.
Is the Kingland facility the only boot camp in Europe that you've gone to, or have you been to a few different ones over there?
Yeah, no, I've been to the NIP facility.
Oh,
Yeah, in Sweden, and I went to the Penguin one, and then Zero Nation we had like a little office, which I will say would be like a boot camp.
it was like the Nordavind one, was it? Or
Oh yeah, we were in Norway, that Northern thing, which became the Zero Nation one, and then in Portugal, when with a it was some like sponsor from Zero Nation.
okay,
Interesting.
And
We're
then
in
in Poland,
Portugal, Lisbon or Porto?
Porto.
Nice.
And then in Poland, at the beginning of Team 1, we stayed in the Pact's house, you know? PACT.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Polish team, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that team.
Okay. All right. Pretty cool. All right. So as we hinted at and talked about before, ESL Challenger Melbourne, both Complexity and EG Black are going to be headed there. Complexity,
One junior.
You're gonna see Juninho. Gonna...
Hey,
You like how I just pulled that out? That was pretty good, right? I'm proud of that one. So Juninho is going to be on land once more. EG Black kind of coming up there. They're actually they're kind of posing a decent sized threat in Challenger League. I mean, this is a good team. I'm excited for what they can do on land. Hext, obviously one of the more experienced players that they have there. Rush is going to be with them as well. I think it's a really solid team. And their first match is against, if I can see it. So they play Greyhound as the first match, which
Winnable.
it's a winnable.
Pretty winnable.
It's a winnable BO1. I would favor Greyhound slightly, but I still think it's pretty winnable. No, you wouldn't favor Greyhound? Why not?
One junior.
He is the best player on the server in that matchup.
He
Absolutely.
No, I'm just joking
not
around,
even
but
even over Liaz.
I would say
Yeah.
EG Black has a really good chance to win that match. Like, not even joking. Like,
Yeah.
just, I don't know. You're just having a good time.
He's just having a good time. And then Complexity play the Danes from Ecstatic, who the only one that I am familiar with at all is Norios. So that'll be an interesting matchup, I think, for the two of them. I think I would say that the Complexity one is a little bit more 50-50. I mean, not the Complexity. The EG Black one's more 50-50 than this Complexity one. Complexity
Yeah.
should comfortably win this, hopefully. And then I think they play their second BO1 later that day. Technically, I think it's like at 4:30 in the morning for us. So that's a 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. That's how early it is for us. That's great to see.
Yeah, I'm definitely not watching that match. It's 10 AM for me.
So with ESL Challenger, like you played Rotterdam, and did you play any other ESL Challenger events?
No, just Rotterdam.
How much like weight do you think teams put into these events? Because the way I was saying it to Ryan last week is I think it would be really important for Complexity's confidence to be able to like win a tournament. But do you think they're looking at it that way?
For us as Team 1, we were like, let's reach playoffs, we can get it. Then we just didn't even win a match.
You fucking kill me. Like every single time that you're just like, yeah, so we wanted to do this and we suck. We were terrible. I'm like, God, be a little bit more positive.
But I mean, like even the level of the event, for example, like do you think that adds a lot of experience for these teams, or do you think Complexity are kind of beyond that now?
Of course it does, but I feel like the Challenger we played, it was like the most stacked one. Like we had Mouse, Outsiders, we had
You played Ents in
Fluxo,
your first game, yeah.
Ends. Like it was pretty hard. And now you have what, Ecstatic,
Greyhound.
Greyhound, EG
I mean,
Black.
Bad News Eagles are in there.
Bad News Eagles and Complexity are the two teams that really should be winning this tournament, it looks like.
Wow, Riders Riders isn't anyone to saw chat. They always have good upset potential. And honestly, Rare Atom could beat all of these teams. Rare Atom has proven that they are actually very good upset potential. What do you mean, nah? They want to map off Navi on LAN.
Yeah, I want
pretty
to.
good.
I did a 16-14 against them as well, but
who do you think wins this tournament? Like looking at the field that's there.
let me check. I don't even know who the teams are. Let's see.
Oh, and by the way, for anyone that is watching, the tickets for the HLTV Confirm show will be going live now So make sure that you go get your limited tickets there. I've already talked. It's in half an hour.
They're gonna.
Oh, I thought they said it was 2 p.m. Eastern. Oh, European. Okay. All right. All right. So in half an hour, you can go buy your tickets. There you go.
This is a complexity event, Ryan.
What?
This is a complexity event.
Think they're gonna win it?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it would actually be disappointing if they don't at least make the grand finals. If Bad News Eagles is not in there, then I think that they should win it.
One
I really
green
do.
CS is coming to win that event.
Dude, one Grim, baby. One Grim all day.
One Grim versus one Junior in the final.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It is gonna be one Grim versus one Junior in like the winners match. That's gonna be the
surely.
funniest thing. And
then just Junior kills 40 and
Still lose.
Oh man. And then they have the two BO3s on Saturday, and then the grand finals at 2 a.m. on Sunday. So I can wake up at 6 a.m. on Sunday Eastern, and I'll recap the game.
Just move to a real time zone, man.
Move to a real time. You work for an American company. What are you talking about?
Work on real time.
Oh my god.
I guess probably good enough time to pivot over to Brazy Party, which is rivaling that Bet Boom urbanistic playlist fucking for shittest title of a event. I don't know where these tournaments. Bet Boom playlist. It was urbanistic for the last.
No, urbanistic is in it. Bet Boom urbanistic playlist 2023.
The new one's Freedom.
There's Freedom. That's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah. So Brazy Party is rivaling that for the shittest name of an event this year. And I don't know where they keep coming from, but they have good teams. We have Imperial and Zero Nation and Pain. No NA teams. But who did you say is replacing Cello, Ryan?
Oh.
Lux.
Who?
Lux.
Oh yeah, Lux, who's benched on
Luxo,
and they want him, and Arctic currently wants him.
Okay.
Thank you for that one. I totally forgot who it was. I even wrote the article. I don't know.
become a journalist.
You are an international journalist. Listen, when you're done with Team One over there, come on over. We'll do corner with Malbs.
Ryan's about to pay Malbs' buyout just to get him to work for Dusty US.
I love it. So how do we think teams are going to fare? How do we think teams are going to fare over at Brazy Party?
It looks like Pain have already lost a game.
Yes, they did lose it to the British. So they lost it into the breach. Big and Zero Nation play in 20 minutes. And then Pain is going to likely play the loser of that. I think for Big Zero Nation, I don't see any way that Big don't win this. And then it's going to be Pain versus Zero Nation to not be eliminated, which like that's just tough. That's just tough. Imperial has a tough group as well. They have to play 9. That's not a great one.
Yeah, especially the form that they're on at the moment.
And playing with a sub. Yeah.
True, yeah. In terms of Zero Nation, they've been a team that have been kind of up and down. Like we saw what they did at Pro League, then just getting stomped out at the Armour. Like they're your former team. I think it's just Cole that's there from your time. But what do you think's been going on over there? Like what do you think's been going wrong?
I don't know. I feel like they have had like many changes, and they just haven't had that much time to like be in a pretty solid grip. Even they had to change an IGL like 2 times. It was Taco, and like at first it was Cultura, then it was Taco, then it was Cultura again. So
it's not going well.
Yeah.
I think the timing of losing Taco was really unfortunate because it was right when it looked like they were going to do something. And then
exactly.
they did something for one event with their sub N9 XTZ, and then they're back to doing nothing again. So, I think from looking at the groups, it's going to be a real struggle. I think Pain are in a difficult position now. I would have had them beating into the breach, but it's going to be a real struggle for them to actually make it out of this group now. I don't think Imperial make it out of the group, and I don't think Zero Nation make it out of the group. And the rest is EU, so who cares?
There you go. Sounds good.
Perfect,
Solid enough.
rundown.
Yeah, I can agree. All right. I don't know. There's not too much else that we have. We just have to look forward to the major. I mean, besides this, I mean, next week's show is going to be the day, a few days before I leave, and we'll probably do our big major preview then. We're not even we'll barely cover the news, and we'll do a bunch of stuff then. So I kind of want to keep my predictions to myself from now.
Oh yeah.
On what my too early for the major predictions are going to be, but it's literally just going to be that Liquid wins it. Like it's literally just going to be that Liquid wins it and Liege wins the major.
What else?
Going to the major, Lou.
Anyways, I don't know, Malbs, if there's anything else that you wanna say.
Just what I said right now. Going to the major, Lou.
What are the plans then for your player break?
Just chill, try to grind, try to prepare for CS2, and just see my offers, see what I have. For me, I just want to play in a North American team, as I always said, but let's see what happens.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you trying to give us as much as you could about ONE and the future there. Wishing you the best of luck over there with ONE and whatever your future may hold.
Thank you, Ryan.
I'm Ryan Friend at dust2.us. That's Liam at dust2.us, and that's Malb currently of Team ONE. We will see you guys next week with our major preview. We will go over everything, and I will give you the most hyperbolic NA predictions ever. All right. See you later, guys.